Steve Bates, the Academy Manager, is on the line. Steve, thanks very much for joining us. As well as being the Academy Manager, obviously you are there on first team match days, aren't you? With either sat watching the game in your viewing gantry, or away games with alongside Gary and that.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate as being a staff member, Seb, that I've got to see most of the games in that respect. And on a personal level, I've got two young daughters, as you well know, and Natalie, that support me. And in our bubble, we have my mum and Natalie's mum. So I'm surrounded by ladies, and actually the football on a Saturday or a Tuesday or at training is an absolute godsend for me. What a person.
I know the feeling. I know what you mean. Yeah. I've got to do it.
On that is Gary has so much of me, and then he's built a tower scaffold where he just puts me up where I can't cause too much mischief.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, we did. That was mentioned earlier on, but we won't go any further than that. But no. Joking aside, you obviously would have been at Concord as well, helping out. Just purely from an academy, from a perspective, you must be. Have you been impressed with how the first team have done this season so far, and certainly recovered after showing a slightly slow start, but they're looking good, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, outstanding, and as I say, I'm very, very fortunate. I mean, listen, I have a history with the club over a lot of years, but more recently, Gary's incredibly supportive. He's got an open ear. He as you well know, I'm not shy to give an opinion, and he's not quite shy to close me down, which is great. But the most important thing, and I'm so lucky, is to watch how he manages the group. And it's interesting watching the different characters and how he gets the best out of them, because every day that I'm there, Seb, it's actually a chance to learn, really, and watch Fabs and Freddie and Dave Smallsby and Mark Finley and all of those guys and see what they expect from their players, to try to replicate it into the academy. And I don't know if you saw in the chat, I did drop one in there where you were talking about the game against Froome. And the academy manager's point of view is, well, what can go wrong if we take our under 18s or under 19s in the trophy? Because we might find out that one of them stands up, or we might actually realise that the opposite side to the coin, the standards aren't good enough, and we need to work harder to improve, So I think there are lessons to be learned. I also respect the moral decision and the decision the club made. And I think the greatest thing about this club at the moment is they make decisions early and are everything seems to be for the right reason at the moment. So it's a great place to be around.
Yeah, it is. And obviously, again, I know I've never been shy to tell people about the work the academy does. But yeah, you must be. I know results, shall we say, haven't exactly gone as anyone as you would like. I would say, but it's another sign that the academy's moving on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Listen, Seb, let's make no bones about it. I think a few years ago, Alan Dowson started the, we're a little village team as such business, because he went behind that mantra. Well, the academy, with the support of the chairman, the vice chairman, the media director. I mean, by all accounts, somebody told me that I've got an advert coming out by the media team and Mr. very, very soon, which I'm so pleased about. On a serious, really serious note, we get so much support, and we took the decision to step into this academy division, which the National League have been quite bright, I think, and quite forward thinking in sort of starting up. And I'm going to say, in the 10 years that I've been at Hampton and in and around the academy, the standard of the football in that National League division is the best standard that I have ever seen at that sort of youth level. And so I have an internal battle because I'm quite a competitive spirit, but actually we have to remember that we're in development football. So at the moment we have David and Marte that is out on loan, which Gary really arranged and trains with the senior group. We have Joe Watton. Gary always invites a few of them into pre-season and lets them throw their hat into the ring. But the two boys at the moment are the two that are their hats closest to the ring, if you like. So the results haven't been great, but on paper, but actually the development of players. And if we're realistic, we're not going to get a team of 11 academy players to the level that we're playing at. I'm fortunate enough, I'm in a group chat with Gary, and we had a conversation today and the rest of the coaches. And although Chorley beat a very young Derby side, I respect that. They're all professional footballers full time. And I think that's where the elite tag comes from, really. I really do. I think the guys, we don't quite realise sometimes how good our players are, and in the national and national league full time, Yeah. So it's a big step, but we're working to.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on that, and it's one thing I've been consistently not surprised, but pleased to see since I've watched a lot more this level of football. Is that actually the quality of play is brilliant, and I think again maybe I know we're talking about Dorking, but just that shows that they're the best team in this league, and they set a very high standard. But in terms of the academy and stuff, and obviously wanting to get the name of the academy out there more, what can obviously an advert would be lovely, and I'm sure that will be forthcoming. But what can someone or fans of Hampton and Richmond Borough do to help try and advance the cause of the academy? Because I think people should be advancing it, because it's a great setup, and it's going to help the club longer term, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's an incentive to be in and around that full-time football. We run an education scheme which aligns with the football programme. There's an argument in where we live, in the areas that we live, that A-levels are a more traditional route, and unfortunately at present we can't offer A-levels. It's something that we would like to do, but we offer an NCFE in sports, and it equates to the same as 3 A-levels when you pass your course. So we're very fortunate. I've got 2 boys in America. I say I've got 2 boys. They become like my family, Seb, unfortunately. And so I've got about 300 children around the place, but young adults. That are doing so well in America and have been taken on into their league, and they both came into pre-season this year, and Gary was very keen on one of the young guys. So from the academy, they've gone to university in America. We've got boys in St Mary's University. So I think it's a really good place for young people. I mean, we only offer the scheme for boys at the moment. We would like to grow and be able to offer it to girls as well. And to support our ladies team, and that's something that we talk about, and it's sort of more difficult to get 16 girls at this present moment, unfortunately, than it is to get 16 boys, if you like. But it's a stretch and it's hard. But the boys, I mean, look, our trials have been cancelled, so we're going to have to rely on the social media, the adverts and those things to get our name out there this year. We do a lot of work going round and introducing ourselves to managers, and there are some plans going forward, which I'm sure that you're aware of, and hopefully will become more public soon, that if the wind turns in our direction, I think we'll have the platform to really grow and improve the academy. And look, some of the academies run education schemes in a number of schools and may have 200 boys to choose from. Well, that's not what we've done. We're quite a bit like the football club, a bit boutique, really, a bit niche. We're out there. We keep it small. We've got 52 boys attached to us, Seb, over a 2-year academy program and a 3rd-year course that we've just started offering this year in gym instructing and personal training, which is going really, really well. So we're hoping to grow that. And I think aligned with the coaching and the guys, train 3 days a week and bits and pieces like that. We've just taken on a strength and conditioning coach for St Mary's, that we'll grow and we'll get stronger on the football field. But, we get a lot of support and we'll be okay. My view is I'd prefer to be in the fight, having a go, rather than, we could easily hide. We could win a league, Seb, if that was what was required, if we dropped down levels. That's the easy way out for me. So we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep asking the boys to push. The boys are buying into the ethos of the club, as you well know. They come in, they did the boxes for the Beaver boxes. They'll do anything that they can to support. And they're growing in. And I don't think it'll be long before we get a real homegrown talent as such onto the pitch. You know, one that's Gary's putting his name in the first 11 as a starter, as opposed to boys that are on the periphery.
Yeah, and we've obviously, and I know you mentioned before, and Imran's spoken about it. Obviously, I know he went from the academy and then went elsewhere and came back, but that should be a lesson that you can. The progression, and Gary offers that as well, doesn't he? I've seen it in training myself, and I've seen it in other things. He includes them as well.
Listen, when we look at Imran had the opportunity last season, and for circumstances, he chose to go somewhere else at that point. And Gary, I think, is quite open to say that he should have stuck around a little bit longer, and the way that things worked out. But he's come back, and listen, he was always a great boy for me in the academy. I have never had a problem with him. He's in any way, shape or form. And I think for a young player to be around the likes of Charlie and Luke and Sam Cox and Alan Julian, to name just but a few, and the quality of Dean Inman and Sam Deadfield. If I was Imran, I'd be soaking it up. When my opportunity comes, I'd be grabbing it at each opportunity and really, thinking, wow, this is the level I want to play at. What do I have to do to keep on improving, be as good as those? Because, let's be fair, if there's a better centre half than Dean Inman, around in the last 10 years, playing as many games at this level, I'd be very, very surprised consistently.
I would definitely agree with that, and everyone knows I'm a big fan of Dean Inman. But I suppose, and I know Corona's obviously affecting the academy as well, and stuff like that. But I think the important thing here, we can talk about. We've talked about that already throughout the whole club. But the important thing is here that hopefully, that when we do get back to normality as such, so the academy is in a good place, and it's something that people should be more aware of. Certainly Hampton and Richmond Borough fans.
Can I just tap in there? The academy's in a good enough place, Seb, at this present moment in time. We've got a really great online platform, and it works quite well. The boys are losing their team physical training, but they've all got individual learning plans. Where they have to work, so they have to provide evidence to us. They're not just sitting at home now, doing an hour's online lesson and going away and doing all of that sort of stuff. But there's a lot going on with that respect. And then the club are being really quite supportive, because as soon as we can come out of this stuff and we can get back onto the field, we will announce it properly in a thing. We're going to open a development centre tonight, and the club want to support that and get on beyond that. And so I think the future is bright. There's some hard work and some hoops to jump through just yet, but we'll get there.
Cool. Steve, thanks very much. I don't know if Tom's got a quick question, because I know Tom does a lot of, he's looking at me to say I haven't, but I know Tom does a lot of work with and has done a lot of work photographing the academies, in and around London.
He's yet to get a picture of me smiling or in a
exactly, but
I have got one of you smiling. I'll just keep that one just for me. Just one question, really. It's about obviously in the COVID situation. You mentioned about young David being out on loan. I know Charlie Jaggers and Jamie Hope have been on loan this season as well.
Yeah.
How much is the development of these young lads being impacted upon by the fact that those leagues from Step 3 and below are unable to play at the moment?
Well, look, it's David had just gone on. If we use David because he's still in with us, David's in a fortunate position that he still gets to train because he's at the club. I'm sure if I asked Gary, then Gary would allow the other boys too, but it's a bit pushing the rules, Tom. It's really going to impact on their young development. So if we look at Imran again, Imran went away to Northwood, I think, in his first season, and then on to Bedfont, where he managed to get sort of 60, 80 games under his belt. Charlie has probably got 15 or 20 already this season, and Jamie was just breaking into the team. There was talk for Joe Watton to go out onto loan as well. And so, we keep an eye. I keep in contact with them and feedback into Gary, but Gary's always asking questions and has dialogue with their managers. So, it's such a shame because it's going to slow. It's certainly going to put them back a season or two, Tom, for when they may well have been able to come through. And that's the difficulty. Listen, the step from under 18s, under 19s football into Conference League, South, North or above is huge. And somewhere along it, they need to go and feel that adult football. I'm not a great believer in the under 23 stuff, so I'm really proud of the boys of the fact that they're out there doing the senior stuff. But, you know, I don't see their league starting again this season personally, which is a shame.
Yeah, it is. But thanks very much, Steve.
No,
right, I think we should go to some music again because I think we've been talking a lot.
I think we should.
Well,
I had one comment come through on one of the chats. Apparently, Steve's debut for Hampton was on the 10th of October 1990. Does that sound about right?
Yes, thank you very much, Les Rance.
Yes. I can make it worse by telling you that to the day was my 7th birthday, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Can I chime in and say I hadn't been born for 10 years?
Yeah.
As well, so.
Me and Rob are staying silent at this point.
I don't know who that's worse for, actually.